Hey, everybody. I hope and pray that you're doing well. Today, as we come to our word from the word, and today that word is broken. Broken. Now, we find today in Hosea chapter 7 that the people were broken, but maybe not in the sense that you would think, right? The people were broken over their sin, but they were more broken up at the circumstances rather than the sin that caused it. If we're not careful, we do the exact same thing, right? We'll cry out to God in anger or in frustration, but we don't cry out to Him in sincere prayer. We don't cry out to Him asking repentance, asking forgiveness, rather, coming to Him in repentance. At the same time, you'll see throughout the passage we're looking at today, he's saying, "Woe to you!" It means judgment is coming because you haven't listened. In fact, they were such a broken people, you basically just say they were so messed up that even as God was trying to use them, they were falling apart. And now they were going to have to face that punishment. And let's look today. Hosea chapter 7, looking at verses 13 through 16. Woe to them, for they have fled from me. Destruction to them, because they have transgressed against me. Though I redeem them, yet they have spoken lies against me. They did not cry out to me with their heart when they wailed upon their beds. They assemble together for grain and new wine. They rebel against me. Though I disciplined and strengthened their arms, yet they devise evil against me. They return, but not to the Most High. They are like a treacherous bow. Their princes shall fall by the sword, for the cursings of their tongue. They shall be their derision in the land of Egypt. Now, even to think that as a broken bow, or even one that was bent or not operating correctly, then as you tried to fire an arrow, it would not hit the mark. It would not hit the intended target. And it's one of those where even as God had strengthened them at times to be able to defeat their enemies coming through Him, He had given them the power. But what did they do with that power? Right? I mean, you think about it, he saved them, redeemed them from Egypt. What did they do with the power that they then received? They used it to turn against God. Go back as quickly as when they come out, Moses up on the mountain and they melt down everything and make the golden calf, right? Just that quick, they have called God a liar. That right? And you say, well, they didn't call him a liar. They said, well, this is the God that brought you out of Egypt. That's saying that Yahweh, the one true God, didn't do what he said he was going to do, or that somehow he wasn't the one that fulfilled those obligations or fulfilled his promises. It's even interesting as you go through that one part where it says that they assembled together for grain and new wine. The wording there can also mean that they were gnashing or cutting themselves, as we see that in other passages. So it could have either application here. And I think, you think about Elijah and the prophets of Baal, right? Those who serve Baal and serve these pagan gods, one of the things that they did was they actually cut themselves. And that was somehow going to bring the power of Baal. It was like they were using that as a symbol of their dedication to him somehow, or that was going to appease him. You think about it, I mean, even today, just a side note, even today in our society, self mutilation and cutting like that is present. And you say, oh, well, that's not to some Baal god. No, but it's empowered by Satan, right? It's saying that if I do this to myself, then it's going to accomplish what I'm wanting to get. And see, God has given us all the things that we need right in front of us. We come to him in prayer. He has redeemed us. He has given us the strength. He has given us the power, all through Jesus Christ alone. But when we take the power that he's given us and then we use it against him, you think about those today who claim to be atheists, or those who completely attack the Christian faith. God created those people. God has given them a brain. He has given them the intellect. He has given them all the same things that he's given everyone else. And yet they don't use it for good. They use it for evil. Now, we know, even looking back at Genesis, right? We know that Genesis chapter 50, that Joseph's brothers, right? He looks to him and says, look, I know you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. There's a lot of things going on in our world today that God meant for good, and people are using it for evil. It's broken people that are using it, though. It's broken people, one way or another, broken people facing the judgment of God, facing the chastening of God, even. Right? These are still the people that he loves. And those whom he loves, he chastens, he disciplines. And sometimes that discipline is painful. But what we don't need to do is take the pain and brokenness that we're feeling and then turn that into self-mutilation, or turn it into following after the world's ideas of what it means to worship. No, when we have that sense of brokenness, what we need to do is, there again, not lie on our beds and cry. What we need to do is get on our knees and pray. See, I think far too often in our society, our culture today, we believe, just the same as many Israelites did, we believe that we have to fix it ourselves. We believe that, hey, I can do this on my own. And we just get ourselves into more and more brokenness. But yet that same trial that would break one person down can be another trial that will break a person up to be used of God. It's all in how you look at what those trials are doing. And those trials are going to accomplish one of two things. They're either going to bring you closer to God, or they're going to push you further away. So today, will you allow God to use the brokenness that's in your life? Will you allow him to use it to bring you back to a right relationship with him? Something for us all to think about today. God bless you, and I pray you have a great, great day.